arrested them. For what? Theft? Oh, come on. Would you have done that? No, I guess not. She shook her head. This is quite a come-down for you, though. Not long ago, you were on the front pages and all over TV news for catching murderers and sex abusers. Now you're back to bringing street sign stealers to justice. Tell me about it, I said. I'd recently been investigating the disappearance of Samantha Claymore, the 16-year-old heiress to the Claymore Cosmetics fortune, and I uncovered a series of murders and sexual crimes against teenage girls in the process of getting Samantha home safely. Like Meg said, that case had turned me into a media sensation for a while. But now I was back investigating the ordinary, day-to-day crimes that happened in a place like Martha's Vineyard. Stuff like stolen bikes, traffic violations, loud beach parties, and squabbles between neighbors. Even something as common in other places as car theft rarely happened here. I mean, how do you get a stolen car off the island? You'd have to buy a ferry ticket for it. It was fall in Cedar Cliffs now, which meant that in a few weeks the number of people on the island, and hence the amount of potential crime, would decrease dramatically. The high point of the tourist season here was in August, when the number of people on the island soared. But there was still pretty good tourist traffic in the weeks after Labor Day, and some people said this time in the early fall was the best time of the year to be on Martha's Vineyard. I was one of them. I always loved the fall here. I was really taking advantage of the beautiful weather. Last week, after a series of sailing lessons, I took my first solo sail out into the open sea, making it to Woods Hole on Cape Cod and back. I also was doing a lot of bike riding, taking in the fall beauty on all the bike lanes and trails that crisscrossed the island. There was still swimming, too. The ocean water on Martha's Vineyard remained warm and comfortable in the early fall, and there was a secluded beach not far from where I lived. I spent a lot of my free time there. Yep, it was all very comfortable for me. Except for the fact that I was doing all these things alone. It would have been nice to share it with someone. A point Meg Jarvis brought up with me now. How's everything else going for you? Meg asked. Such as? Your personal life? Are you talking about men? Yes. Oscar's fine. Oscar's your dog. Well, he's also the only man in my life right now. What happened to the Boston TV reporter? That was a good question. A question I did not have a good answer for. Lincoln Connor and I became involved romantically when he came here to cover the murders/teenage sex scandal for his station in Boston. Things were exciting between us for a while, but then he went back to Boston, which was why I was spending most of my free time with Oscar now. Lincoln wanted me to move to Boston, I said. He said I should try to get a job with the Boston police or maybe the FBI there. I asked him to move to Martha's Vineyard. I said maybe he could get a job with the Martha's Vineyard Gazette. We argued about that a number of times, and then he left. I'm not sure if I'll ever see him again. It's not that far for you to visit him in Boston, Meg pointed out. It's not that far for him to visit me here either, but neither one seems to be happening. Do you love him? I'm not sure. That's really supposed to be a yes or no answer. I may still be in love with my ex-husband. Zach? The state trooper back in New York? Uh-huh. You think there's a chance you and Zach could get back together again? I was hoping. But didn't he just get remarried? Well, there is that. It was just another routine day in the Cedar Cliffs police station, talking about petty crimes on Martha's Vineyard and personal gossip and a lot of other stuff like that. Then, Police Chief Barry Wilhelm came barreling out of his office, and in an instant, everything changed. "There's been a homicide at the beach house," he yelled to me. "Who's dead?" 5 people. 5? It looks like a massacre up there. Chapter 2. I knew this was going to be really terrible. I could see it on the faces of the 2 uniformed Cedar Cliffs officers standing outside. It wasn't just that the 2 cops looked horrified or distraught or even repulsed by what they'd seen inside. The expression on their faces was more of, well, disbelief. The beach house was a very upscale hotel about a mile outside of downtown Cedar Cliffs. It was on its own little parcel of land, right off of Beach Road on the eastern end of the island. There was a